Yuki and John, patriot of birth.
Yuki, what movie is this from? I'm gonna do a movie quote. Okay.
I'm not good at it though because I don't remember the lines. So, but
Well, you might remember this one.
okay,
I'll give you the decade. It's the
Uh-huh.
1980s.
okay.
He says. No, well, the one guy goes, "Who are you?" And the other guy goes, "I'm your worst nightmare."
Oh, it's a Rambo.
Oh shit! You remember? See,
Oh, okay.
you would remember. So do you know what's crazy is that Liz Shack, our producer, and I, we watched a couple of the Rockies and a couple of the Rambos recently. We watched Rocky 3 and 4 and watched Rambo 1 and 2, which First Blood 1, First Blood Part 2.
Right.
It should have been called First Blood and Second Blood, but that's besides the point. But one of the amazing things was in the one with Mr. T.
Right.
Mr. T says, "I pity the fool." And that was the first time that Mr. T ever said, "I pity the fool." I always thought that Mr. T's catchphrase was, "I pity the fool," and Stallone incorporated it. No, Stallone wrote that line for Mr. T, and it became a cultural phenomenon.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Because you know "I pity the fool," right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Mr. T in the 80s?
I mean, I only remember him as from Rocky 3.
You don't remember DC Cab?
That was before, after Rocky 3, right?
It was Rocky 3 was the same year as DC Cab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DC Cab was funny. Written by Joel Schumacher, who went on to make
director, right?
The Lost Boys and
other
as well, along with other things.
I hated his Batman.
And nipples.
Yeah.
He put nipples on the Batsuit.
Well,
I think that what you could do sometimes is layer in homoerotic subtext and things to certain things. But I don't think that everybody was sitting there calling out saying, "Please make the homoerotic subtext in Batman the thing," you know?
That makes good director and bad director. Unconsciously, he did it because he didn't
No, I think he pretty much consciously said, "Let's put some nipples on the Batsuit."
If it's consciously he did it, I don't think he's a good director.
Well, he is a good director, but he wasn't a good director for Batman. He's did some great movies. You didn't like what else did he do? St. Elmo's Fire. Pretty all right. You didn't like St. Elmo's Fire?
Actually, I liked it, but but it wasn't the great. I mean,
okay. Well, here's an instance. The Lost Boys has a lot of homoerotic subtext, but it's a fucking brilliant ass movie. I mean, it's all about like this being seduced by the other things that you're not used to, and maybe the vampires are the way. Corey Haim has a picture of Rob Lowe on the wall, and a lot of stuff is all steamy and hot.
I don't know. I mean,
what's like a movie that you can remember that has like brilliant subtext that came up, and you know you knew that the movie was about one thing, but it was really about another?
Let's see. I mean, I just can't say it now, but I have to think about it.
Well, okay. So if you haven't already understood, this episode is about movies. We're just going to talk about film in general, right? We're just going to throw it out there. So one time you told me that one of your favorite movies of all time is 12 Angry Men.
Yes.
Now, 12 Angry Men has a lot of layers going on for it, right? What is it about 12 Angry Men that really gets your juices flowing?
Well, first of all, the setting is good. 1 room and 12 people. And, discussing this boy is guilty or not guilty. And then I'm not Christian. You know that. I mean, I don't believe anything. But that 12 makes me think about the again, I'm not the Christian, but the Last Supper.
Yeah.
That 12.
Yeah.
That 12 is probably coming from 12 juries.
Right.
That kind of stuff, because not being a Christian, but, something about, looking at the movie about something about the Christian thing.
Morality and justice and
well, yeah,
spiritual
spiritual
yeah,
thing. Yeah, well,
ethics and
right. One against 11, he says, I just don't want to, without discussing, I don't want to send anybody to the chair. That kind of stuff is.
it's important.
Think,
yeah, it makes you think.
Yeah, makes you think.
What are let's just start in general. What are some other movies besides 12 Angry Men that you really feel moved by, or you think that people need to watch? Like it's just necessary viewing.
Remember the Defiance one?
The Defiant ones, yes.
Black guy and white guy, and then together.
Yeah.
It's about you see the racism, but it's beyond the basis. After all, black guy, white guy together.
Yeah.
Same human being.
Yeah.
And then some point, remember when they had a fight in the mud?
Yeah.
Now you can tell black or white. That kind of stuff, I really enjoy it.
Okay. Do you remember who directed the Defiant ones? I forgot.
Uh,
we'll look it up. Yeah. So
Stanley Kramer?
It might be Stanley Kramer. Okay, so the Defiant ones is one that you highly recommend that people watch because it moved you and it's necessary viewing. What's another?
I like In the Heat of the Night.
In the Heat of the Night. What a great movie. Rod Steiger and Sidney
Poitier.
Sidney Poitier.
Well, actually, he is in the Defiance one too.
Yeah, there you go. So Sidney Poitier really spoke to you.
And then Lily's in the Field.
Lily's in the Field, absolutely. Stanley Kramer directed the Defiant ones.
See, what it is now, since we're talking about the Poitier, 60s, him being as a black actor meant something always. Always something to do with racism or, his position in this society, white world in America. But then later, when you look at Eddie Murphy or Wesley Snipes, looking at them doesn't mean anything being a black actor because they don't have the impact as much as Poitier had it in 60s.
Well, I somewhat disagree with that only because, 80s still had a lot of issues and stuff. But yes, absolutely, Sidney Poitier paved the way so that Eddie Murphy and people like Wesley Snipes could do their thing and actually just put out these beautiful, amazing things for everybody where it was bringing more people in. Whereas back in the day, Sidney Poitier makes a movie and half the country isn't going to go.
But the good example is it's not the Wesley Snipes' fault, but looking him at Rising Sun.
Rising Sun with Sean Connery.
Yeah, right.
From a story by Michael Crichton.
Right.
Yeah.
Their mistake is put the Wesley Snipes in that character because, see, that character has to be white. In book, his character was white. That works because a white guy, this world.
White devil?
Yeah, white, then, Japanese as a yellow people.
Right.
Yellow monkey. But his character, if it's black, it doesn't have that impact because black coming from the slavery. So, the white people, as Japanese bashing works because white, inferior to the Asian people, they like to think. But if that character is black, the whole dynamic of the thing got lost. And then it's not the Snipes' fault, but that's a kind of I'm talking about when Poitier played the character, never happened that kind of thing. It's always him against something.
Something, yeah.
But the Wesley
a white
Snipes,
father. Guess who's coming to dinner, right?
Exactly.
That's a great one.
So that's.
You know what's another really underrated Sidney Poitier movie? I was just looking up the title. A Patch of Blue. You ever hear of this movie?
Yes, Patch of Blue.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I caught it on TCM once, which I love TCM. And it's about Sidney Poitier who...
The black... not the black...
A blind woman.
Blind girl.
He befriends a blind girl. Right. And then who is Elizabeth Hartman was the blind girl's name, but Shelley Winters is her like
Mother,
racist
it's
mother who.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what an underrated classic that is.
Right.
And then my favorite Sidney Poitier movement that everybody loves is when he fucking the white mayor of whatever I think it's a mayor slaps him and he slaps him right back.
That's in the heat of the
In
night.
the heat of the night, yeah, and then the mayor looks to Rod Steiger to do something and he doesn't do shit.
No, I think he's the plantation owner.
The plantation owner, yeah. What I mean, that was like the best.
Right?
Smacks him back, and then Rod Steiger, who is obviously a racist cop, he's starting to get swayed because he knows that Poitier is right. What a fucking movie! Oh, I love that movie, and Steiger won the Oscar for that. Right. Oh. So we've said a few Poitier movies. Any movies that are post, say, 1970 or 1980 that you like? What? Okay, here's a better question. What do you think in the 21st century is an undeniable masterpiece, whether it's foreign, American, whatever? Is there a movie in the 21st century that you think is an undeniable masterpiece?
21st century is like, oh my God, last 20 years?
Only the last 23 years, because a lot of people say that there haven't been a lot of masterpieces. I beg to differ. Like, for me, one would be There Will Be Blood is an undeniable masterpiece. It's a brilliant movie by a brilliant filmmaker, brilliant everything. I mean,
who directed?
Paul Thomas Anderson directed it. He directed Daniel Day-Lewis. You didn't like that one?
No. I don't like Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh no, Yuki! You don't like Boogie Nights?
No.
There's a lot of titties in Boogie Nights.
I know, but
Yuki, you didn't like anything? Nothing?
I don't know. I don't like new directors. Much.
Nobody.
Always going back
to the
50,
back
60s, 70s.
All right, well then let's keep it pre 1980 because I could do a whole episode on the 1980s because that's where I grew up. But as I started to become more of a film lover, I feel like some of the greatest movies were pre 1980, right? Let's see.
So-called the third Hollywood generation, the Friedkin, Coppola.
Yeah, the movie brats.
Yeah,
right?
That's what the film school became popular because of those
guys. Because they inherited Hollywood essentially and broke the mold. A lot of people say that Easy Rider was the one that broke from old Hollywood into new Hollywood. You had Peter Fonda, who was the son of
the Henry Fonda.
Yeah. And that was the new school taking over, paving the way for people like you said, Friedkin, Scorsese, De Palma.
Well, but before
Spielberg.
that, like the Arthur Penn,
Arthur Penn,
Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, that's the one that broke the boundaries for violence. Nobody had ever seen a scene like the end of Bonnie and Clyde. Spoilers, everybody. But they get their fucking asses shot off, and there's just a hail of bullets. Bah, 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 bah. Nobody ever seen anything like that on screen.
But it's based on true story.
It was based on a true story. Yeah, Arthur Penn, Gene Hackman's in that. Oh man, what? So okay, so far we say everybody watch In the Heat of the Night, right? 12 Angry Men, The Defiant Ones, A Patch of Blue. Let's say Bonnie and Clyde, right? Easy Rider is very important. I would also say that there's a movie called Electra Glide in Blue.
That's the
Robert Blake.
Robert Blake and the motorcycle cop.
That's right. So Electra Glide in Blue is one of the most underrated movies that ever came out of Hollywood. And it's sort of misremembered or forgotten because it's the flip side to Easy Rider. Easy Rider's about the hippies.
Right.
Electra Glide in Blue. It's a horrible title. Electra Glide is a motorcycle, and then in blue for cops. Robert Blake wanted to call it Chopper Copper. Much better title, right? So if we had remembered Chopper Copper, it would have been the duology of you get Easy Rider and Chopper Copper would have been the back-to-back masterpieces because it said the same thing only from the other side of point of view. So I recommend that to everybody.
Little even before that, the Wild One.
The Wild Bunch?
Wild One.
The Wild One is Brando, right?
Brando, the motorcycle movie.
That's right. So that was also a very groundbreaking movie because people hadn't seen that sort of acting before. Brando opened up this whole new version of acting, which was like realism. I mean, even James Dean to an extent, but Brando was the one that exploded it.
Those what's called the method acting from Actors Studio.
Strasberg and all that
Yes,
shit. Yeah. So what would you say? Okay, since we're sort of focusing on pre-1980, what are some of the greatest actor performances and actress performances that you would single out? You would say Brando and the Wild One.
But I like Paul Newman though.
Paul Newman. Which ones? We could do a slap shot.
No, even
Before
you
that,
know, the Hustler.
The Hustler's a woof.
God, I hated when the Academy gave him an Oscar for Color of Money. That's bullshit.
There was somebody that year that deserved it more than Newman, and I forgot who it was. No offense, Paul Newman. We all love you, but Color of Money, it's a great movie, but it wasn't.
He should have won in the Hustler or
Slapshot,
or even the Verdict.
The Verdict.
Absence of Malice. Hurt.
Yeah.
But they never gave it to him. So the year nobody was good, they just gave it to him for Color of the Money.
Wait, I'm going to look up Paul Newman, and we're going to find out who was better that year. Because the Oscars are a sham, right? What do you think of the Oscars?
I think Oscar is bullshit. It's a joke.
It's all political bullshit contest.
It's a popular contest.
Yeah. Because this year, there's some people who were nominated, like Kate Blanchett in Tar.
Yeah.
Great fucking performance. Right. But then you get the flip side to that. Mia Goth in Pearl, completely ignored. And that woman deserves at least a nomination, but they don't honor her. All right, what are some actresses pre-1980 that you think were amazing?
Pre-1980?
Pre-1980, Lauren Bacall or any of those sultry women.
Oh, I mean, it's like, then Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's too old. This might be
No, it's not too 60. old. The original title for the Shawshank Redemption was Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, the Stephen King story, that's the name of it, because the whole idea of he would have the posters of these different on his prison cell wall as the years progressed. Oh. And when he finally escaped, he had a poster of Rita Hayworth, but behind it was the tunnel he was building.
Oh.
Yeah. They were kind of skipped over that in the movie. But yeah, Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. But I like the Vanessa Redgrave.
Yes. Great actress. I mean, she also was great as she got older too.
She never won the Academy, right?
I'm offhand, I don't know.
That's why I'm and then they do that. Jeremy Iron, he should be nominated. The Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers.
Right?
Well, that's post 1980, but who cares? Let's throw the rules out the window. Yeah. Dead Ringers is amazing.
But then, he didn't win, so they gave it to him instead, like Presumed Innocent. But his Dead Ringer was a lot better. That's why I don't like the Oscar.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Dead Ringers is a David Cronenberg movie where Jeremy Irons plays twin brothers.
But then he played the twins and then brothers and sisters. What he did great was he made a difference when he's playing brother, older brother, younger brother. I mean,
he played multiple characters.
Yeah.
And he carried that movie, and just to not even get an award for that.
Then, he didn't even nominate it. Then they gave him a Prison Innocent. He was good, but not as good as Dead Ringers.
That's right. Here, let's see. Oscar winner in a Best Actor, 1987. You got Paul Newman. But what were the nominations? Oh, they're not showing me the nominations. This piece of shit. IMDb, I love you, but I hate you at the same time because I'm trying. Oh, by nominee. Here we go. Paul Newman, 1987, leading role. Oh, they won't show me. Show me. Oh, here we go. No, they won't show me.
Oh.
That year, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. You know her?
Yeah.
She won for something.
She won? She was nominated.
Oh, wait, she was a nominee.
Yeah.
What? Why is it only showing me nominees? Martin Scorsese. Oh, they're showing me only the nominees for Color of Money. I didn't even smoke any weed today, Yuki. All right, let me tell you some movies that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein. The original James Whale's Frankenstein.
Right, original, not the Coppola's, right?
That's Dracula.
No.
Coppola did Frankenstein?
No, he didn't direct. He produced it, and then Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, I saw that one in theaters. That was Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh. Didn't like it. Yeah, you can be closer to the book, but who wants the book? I mean, the book is fine and everything, and I read it. Mary Shelley, basically a woman who invented science fiction. But, De Niro's going.
But you like Dracula? I didn't like
the original Dracula. I'm not. I think Bela Lugosi. Coppola's Dracula is amazing.
You like that?
I loved it. In fact, it's almost my. Well, of course, the Hammer horror Draculas are the best, but Coppola's Dracula gets unfairly maligned. The only major thing that I would change. It wouldn't be Keanu Reeves in that part. No offense, I love Keanu Reeves and everything. Right. He was wrong for that role.
Did I tell you that I almost did that movie?
You almost...
Well, what happened?
You were up for production design on one of the...
No, not the production designer. The Eiko Ishioka, Japanese lady, the graphic designer was in costume designer.
Okay.
And then she needed, bilingual assistant.
You're kidding.
So, I met her and she goes... Can you go to the post office? Can you go to the bank? Like, well, you don't need an assistant costume. You need a maid. So I turned it down. Then I did the Land of the Lost.
The TV series, the reboot. Wow.
Because I was excited. Like, hey, I don't mind if it's a costume assistant. I do it.
Yeah.
But if it's personal assistant, I'm not gonna, go to post office for you. No.
Diaper baby.
Yeah, you would have been just a diaper baby. That's horrible, Yuki.
So I didn't do it.
Oh. I think that Dracula suffered for it, because if you were there, they would have fired Keanu Reeves, and you would have done Jonathan Harker better.
Well, even though she won the Academy, but her costume looks so futuristic to me.
In Dracula?
Yeah. Those.
Look, in Dracula, I don't think that they were going for realism. They were going for a highly stylized universe where it's almost outside of time and space.
That's why I didn't like it. Maybe that's why Coppola hired her.
Right. You like realism. You like...
Yeah, I mean...
You said that you were also up for a movie, Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yes.
And that they were using a lot of Chinese, even though it's a Japanese story, they were using Chinese architecture.
Right, so, when I met the designer, they should... Now, we're shooting in China? So the moment I said it, I knew I don't get the job.
All right, let me tell you some more of my favorites. Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Billy Wilder.
Yes.
What a movie. Oh, my God. I feel like so many people were inadvertently, even if they haven't seen the movie, other directors and writers and producers and all sorts of people were inspired by Sunset Boulevard. I feel like it was a very much ahead of its time film. You watch stuff like the scene where she has the monkey funeral.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there's the DNA of Tim Burton in those scenes, or the part where the organ has the wind going and you hear the organ through the pipes in
the house,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah, very gothic and strange, and unlike a lot of other Billy Wilder stuff.
That the house looks amazing. That the rundown house.
Yes,
that's reflecting herself.
As she degrades, she's more and more unneeded in the world, and
then
forgotten.
Her acting was silent movie acting. It's overacting, and so I love it in every which way. And then it's not the film noir because it's not the crime movie.
No,
but still, lots of film noir element.
But it's also spoilers. It starts off with a dead man.
Yes.
Narrating the whole movie.
Yeah. Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder's the best. I mean, anybody out there who hasn't seen any Billy Wilder movies, go out immediately and watch about 12 of them. There's The Apartment, Some Like It Hot.
The Witness for the Prosecution.
Which also leads us to Charles Lawton.
Right.
He is amazing in that movie. There's the part where he uses his monocle as like an interrogation tool because the light is reflecting off of it and confusing the person and distracting them. So Charles Lawton, great witness for the prosecution, one of the greatest twists endings ever.
Yes.
But Charles Lawton, Night of the Hunter. He directed the Night of the Hunter.
The only movie he directed, right?
The only movie he directed. Liz Shack, our producer, and I, we went to the Museum of the Moving Image, and we saw it in glorious 35 millimeter. It's a whole other movie on the big screen. Really. You can't get distracted by your phone or people or whatever. It was like a transporter. From the time, again, spoilers, everybody! The time that Shelley Winters is under the water through the part where they arrive at the orphanage is it might be the greatest sequence in American movies. Yeah.
Tubi
has it?
Tubi has it now.
Everybody out there who has not seen Night of the Hunter, I'm sorry I told you that Shelley Winters is dead. But
the one Shelley Winters story. Marco worked with Shelley Winters.
Oh.
Once. And then that time she was already old. She goes, "Hey Marco, I haven't had sex for 20 years." She was telling Marco, like, Marco says, "Is this a trick question?"
So Shelley Winters was trying to seduce Mako into a little
Yeah.
Look, I would have made love to Shelley Winters. She was a pretty attractive woman when she was younger.
That's true.
When she got older, it's just like I'm not into older ladies,
yeah.
but I still would have done it just for the clout.
Right.
Yeah.
Senior citizen could have a senior sex, right?
And plus, she would have been really into it. Like,
right.
She's a great actress, so she
Right.
might have pretended that I was really good at bed or something, So, Shelley Winters, any other stuff that she's done that you like?
I thought she was good in the Poseidon
Adventure.
Poseidon.
What an awesome movie. She's also great in, what's the one, The Tenant. You ever see The Tenant with Roman Polanski?
Yes.
Great movie.
And then
Lolita.
And then Young Savage.
Young Savage, yes.
The John Frankenheimer.
You know what scene I love in Lolita is when James Mason is walking through and he's like, and he's talking to Shelley Winters, and he's kind of not really turned on by the whole scene, and Shelley Winters is like, "Oh, I bake my own cherry pies or all this stuff,"
Yeah.
and then he looks out in the yard and he sees Lolita, and he says, "Oh, I think I might stay actually," and Shelley Winters says, "What was it?" And he says, "I think it was your cherry pie." What a well-written scene, because it's like the metaphor.
Right.
You know what cherry pie is. Right?
Yeah.
You've eaten cherry pie before. I made you a cherry pie.
That's right.
On Yuki and John's Patreon buffet, so you know exactly what he was talking about.
Yes.
There's also a scene I never knew when there's a scene where Peter Sellers is trying to cruise Mason, where he's trying to pick him up and actually have an affair with him, and he's like, "Oh, we're just two guys."
That movie is also ending half fast.
Right, they show then
go
and
back
then
to
flash
the story.
back to the story.
Yeah.
What do you think about Citizen Kane, Yuki? Do you think it's overrated or underrated?
Personally, I think it's overrated.
Overrated?
Because I like Touch of Evil more like Citizen Kane.
I like Touch of Evil more than Citizen Kane too.
Oh.
That whole opening shot, the single shot.
Like
how did they achieve? How did Orson Welles achieve a single shot like that? The cameras must have weighed so much back then.
Yeah, back then, yeah. Everybody talking with the bird, the long take, and blah
goes
blah
down
blah.
underneath the car to the bomb and all that.
Yeah, he did that like years ago.
They call those in the industry oneers, where it's all one shot. You don't cut. There's no editing. You just do it all on set and you get in there.
And then there's a Russian movie called Russian Ark.
The whole movie is two shots.
One take. Yeah.
Oh, one take.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours, one take.
Yeah. But you can do that because it's digital.
Right.
The cassette lasts 2 hours, but from the film,
it was only 17 minutes or something.
17 minutes or 15 minutes. So Hitchcock, The Rope, it's still, but
5 or 6 one shots.
Then some cross the things. So
to go full circle to the homosexual subtext, Rope.
Oh my God, that's like a really like a
one of the greatest.
Yeah,
one of the greatest of all times, and
it's all subtext.
It's all subtext, but also it's slowly every once in a while pokes through.
Yeah,
and Hitchcock was the master of that shit. You studied for a
Yes.
while. And you, on one of our episodes, sort of like dissected Psycho and stuff. Besides Psycho, what are some of the things that you think that people should look out for in Hitchcock's work? And why was he so important? I mean, we just rewatched The Birds.
I say the Vertigo.
Vertigo, of course, yeah.
Everybody says it's a great movie, but it's a sick movie, you know. It's a guy who wants to have sex with dead woman. So
Yeah.
it's a really sick subject.
Yeah. But I will say this. I don't know which came first. Vertigo or Black Narcissus. Do you know Black Narcissus, which by Powell and Pressburger?
I've never seen it. Though.
Well, there's a very similar scene. Let's see which is first. I think that Hitchcock was inspired by Black Narcissus.
So Hitchcock is before. The Vertigo is before
Let's
that
see,
movie.
Black Narcissus. Let's see. Okay, so, but what is it about Hitchcock? Is it just, do you think that he was constrained by the times and he could have been greater in a time where anything went? Or do you think he was great because he had to be clever in the time where there was so much censorship?
I suppose he was great, and also he was a sexually screwed up guy.
Yeah.
It's really, and then, you know, his wife with Alma, she's not pretty, you know, because Hitchcock can get the pretty woman, pretty lady. That's why he fell in love with the actress.
Tippi Hedren?
Tippi Hedren and then Grace Kelly.
Right.
And then hire them because he loved them, but he can't have them. So he tortured them in the scene.
Yeah.
That's sick. But that's why he makes him great.
Yeah, there's a great interview on Gilbert Gottfried's podcast, Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast with Tippi Hedren, and she gets into the whole thing. She says how Hitchcock would abuse her.
Right,
he had her for 5 straight days getting attacked by birds and things like that. That's some sick shit. You're right. But you still think that even though he did those horrible things, he still was great.
Yes. It has to go both ways. So he was sick in person. That makes him a great director. I mean, didn't go criminal way, you know.
Right.
Went to, you know, great director. So
I just looked it up. Black Narcissus was 20 years before Vertigo. And there's a couple of very similar scenes, like, you know, the part where they rise up on the bell tower in Vertigo and then the person gets scared or whatever.
Oh.
Very similar. So I would recommend anybody. The beginning of Black Narcissus is kind of slow, but it gets really crazy. There's another movie by those directors, Powell and Pressburger, The Red Shoes.
Oh.
You ever see The Red Shoes?
Yes.
Well, to me, The Red Shoes was something that I put off for 20-something years because people like Scorsese was like, it's the greatest movie ever made, whatever. And I was like, yeah, it can't be that good. And I finally watched it on a Criterion channel. And when I tell you that I punched myself in the fucking face for not watching this movie for 20 years, I actually did. This movie is a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. The Red Shoes. So anybody out there that has any time or the Criterion channel, whatever, I think it's actually on HBO Max too. The Red Shoes and Black Narcissus, 2 of the greatest movies ever made. Inspiring, I believe,
Vertigo?
Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah. What about the later Hitchcock? Did he? I don't think I ever saw his last movie, Frenzy or Tightrope. Which was the last one?
Family Plot.
Family Plot was his last one.
Right.
Now, supposedly, Family Plot was the most graphic, right?
Really?
I might be wrong. Maybe there was another one, Frenzy.
Frenzy was more
graphic,
yeah. And then
do you think if Hitchcock was able to make movies in the modern days, do you think he would go full-blown gore? Like, do you think he would show the murders more than he did it being clever and stuff?
Maybe no. There was a script supposed to something night
that Hitchcock wanted to make.
He wanted to make, but he died before that movie.
And it was great.
I read the script.
Oh, what was it about?
It's a spy movie.
Okay.
God, what's something night?
Okay. And was it good? You think it's sad that he didn't get to make it?
Yeah, it was sad he didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about this movie one time, and I think we'll end on this because this, I think, is one of the greatest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Short Night.
Oh, Short Night. Well, Hitchcock wanted to get the rights to the novel Diaboliques, the Devils,
yeah.
but in French it's Diabolique, and Clouseau got the rights first and made Diabolique.
Yeah.
And that movie, I know you're a fan.
Yes, my favorite.
It's one of the best movies ever made.
But the Sidney Lumet made it remake with Sharon Stone.
Not as good. Although good. I do like the other actress in the remake. She was from Possession. You ever see Possession with Sam Neill?
Oh, what's her name?
I forgot her name. Greta
Sachi?
No, hold on. Possession. Posse. Sorry, guys. We like to look things up on this show because we like to be right. Possession. Her name is Isabella Adjani.
Oh, Isabella Adjani.
That's it. Isabella
French
Adjani.
Actress,
yes,
yeah.
French actress. One of the talk about performances from an actress. Possession. She gives it all.
She was,
and then some. But in the remake of Diabolique was not that good.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so let's leave it off on that note. We mentioned a shitload of movies today, and that's not even scratching the surface. I mean, we're going to do a whole episode on Samuel Fuller.
Oh,
you know Samuel Fuller. He's your favorite motherfucker on earth.
Yes.
So this was another beautiful episode of Yuki and John's podcast buffet. We're putting these out as just a thank you to everybody, and we also do Yuki and John's Patreon buffet, which you can still join. And we're going to keep doing a buffet of content. We do Yuki Reacts, Universe and Human Stupidity, Yuki Celebrity Stories. Who knows? We'll do Yuki Tweaks His Nipples for 2 hours.
That's right.
I think that's the one you pitched me the other day, right? That's your new... You want to do that one anyway. So thank you all for joining us. You can find Yuki at Instagram and Twitter on Tokyo Cowboy Yuki. You can find me at Instagram, Twitter at Bad Techno or badtechno.com. And watch The Last Drive-In on Shudder. I mean, it's probably coming up. I don't know when we're going to release this, but...
I'm not in it, but the Valentine special...
Oh, this is going to be like 3 months later, yeah.
No, next Friday.
Well, we're recording it, but next...
Oh, this... Okay.
We're time traveling, yeah.
The Last Drive-In's next Friday, right? Yeah.
But in the past. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yuki and John, Patreon buffet.